Hello, folks. Welcome back. So today I'm making a response video with regards to a new political party that was formed in South Africa recently. Name of the party is Rise Mzansi. The founder made a speech recently. I'm sharing my thoughts about that. I'm ready for you guys. I'm ready for you. So, this is my response to the new political party formed in South Africa called Rise Mzansi. So on the 19th of April 2023, Songezo Zibi, the leader of this new political party, made a speech at Constitutional Hill, Johannesburg, the official launch of the party. And these are some of the key issues that he raised in his speech, and I am responding to those. So he started by saying, by sharing his stories about his upbringing, where he comes from the Eastern Cape, which is not exactly like relevant to what I want to talk about, other than that he used that as a story to talk about failures in South African governance, both local, provincial, national government, crumbling infrastructure, non-existent infrastructure, lack of proper services. And then he went into it, where he, in terms of what they want to do as a party, where he said, our goal is to build a country that is based on principles of freedom, justice, equality, solidarity, and integrity. By the way, you can find the speech on their social page website, on their Facebook page. And then he went on and said, we cannot have justice while we still have economic injustice. Yeah. We cannot have freedom if we don't obsess about ending poverty. I don't exactly know what does that obsessing about ending poverty look like and what does it mean, but that's what he said. And he said, we cannot have equality if we do not end inequality. And he said, we cannot have solidarity if we do not have a new non-racialism and end racism. And then he said, we cannot have integrity while corruption is driven from the very top. Look, folks, On paper, I don't have any issue with any of the things that he said. They all sound good. Everything always sounds good on paper. The challenge is that he didn't go into the details of how he or Rise Mzansi intends to achieve these stated lofty and noble goals that they have. And as far as I'm aware, from the interviews that he's conducted over the last week on national TV in South Africa, which I've went on to download all of them because I don't have time to watch television and watch them. He hasn't been asked to elaborate, or neither did he say anything about how he intends to, or how they intend to achieve these lofty goals that they have. So he went on further in his speech and he touched on issues like issues that are serious, that most South Africans will agree with him as to be serious. But the problem for me is that he ended up just regurgitating a laundry list of problems that we have, but said nothing about what he intends to do or what they intend to do about these issues and how they intend to achieve these goals. It's always gonna go down to the what and how when it comes to politicians or anyone who's running for political office. What they intend to do and how they intend to do it. And each and every political party or political candidate that is thin on the what and the how should not get any support from you. And I'm sorry, his speech was not just thin on the what and how. There was nothing there. Nothing at all. He spoke about violent crime, which is out of control in South Africa, which I agree with. Spoke about economic problems that are caused by the unstable electricity supply, which I agree with. He touched on unemployment, which I absolutely agree with. Spoke about widespread hunger and starvation, which is well documented in South Africa, especially among children. There have been stories that some children were eating mud in KwaZulu-Natal because they didn't have food. There are some horrific stories about hunger and starvation in South Africa. He mentioned failing municipalities, crumbling infrastructure, inequality being the highest in the world in South Africa. Mentioned corruption and he made some comments about foreign policy, but also nothing really there in terms of what is it that he disagrees with the ANC's foreign policy and what it is that he wants to implement in terms of what his foreign policy would look like or what their foreign policy would look like as a party. Again, nothing in terms of what they want to do and how they want to do it. So it seems to me that he also complained bitterly about how broken our political system is. That seemed to be a theme that he talks about a lot, actually, because all the interviews that I saw of him on TV, he complained a lot about the broken podcast system. But he's saying nothing about what exactly is broken about the political system. What is broken? Give us a list of items that are broken. Go into detail. What is broken? And once that's done, what are you proposing to do about that? Nothing. So you get where I'm going with this. The closest he got to speaking about economic issues in his speech was when he mentioned that our economic system in South Africa has just been about managing the post-colonial order, which is true. Okay. Right. He pointed that the mining investment has lagged in South Africa. Yes. Okay, we all know this. He also mentioned corruption. Yeah. But at the end of it, I'm just like, okay, folks, we all know these things that he's mentioned. I think all of us who are following politics in the country know about these things. But is that it? Like, is that the best that we can do as a country? that when people are saying, okay, we have all of these political parties, they're failing, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing or whatnot. So I'm going to start a new political party. And this is it? Folks, it is so embarrassing. And what's worse for me with regards to this particular party is that they are telling us that, okay, they spent the better part of 2022 and all of the first half of 2023 working on a political party, or what they are calling a movement. And then after all of this work that they've done, and then after they've come to South Africans to introduce to us this political party, and they call a press conference to tell us that they are forming a new political party, and they're saying like nothing at all. Really? Like, is this it? So really, when I say, I took some time to read his speech, and I took some time to also listen to the interviews that he did, because you know, sometimes you need to just give the person, get as much information about the person as possible in terms of what it is that they are trying to do before you make an actual response. And from what I'm saying, this is disappointing. This is beyond disappointing. And folks, when I say that South Africa will be a failed state, I'm not being an alarmist. I'm being very sensible, actually. Because this is it. There is another political party that has been formed called Arise. I just watched the interview that was done by its founder, some guy called Paul something. I watched the interview that he did with the SABC, where he was basically saying nothing at all. And so I'm busy looking at all these political parties that are being formed, and I'm just like, we are in for a ride, guys. We are really in for a ride. It's tough. It's really tough. Yeah, so this is it. Here is a new political party that is telling South Africa that they want us to trust them with political power, but they have not respected us. They have not respected us enough to even come out with concise, clear, and coherent policies to bring before us. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. And it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen them. I don't know if you've heard of them. Tell me what you think about them. Tell me what you think about the coming elections. What do you think about their press conference, about the interviews? Like, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you disagree? Where do you agree? Do you want to give them a chance? Why do you want to give them a chance if you want to give them a chance? But that will be very interesting for me to hear, because, wow, this is tough. This is tough. So hit me up, comments below, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you in the next one.